Dr. K.C. Sunny. I have no personal acquaintance with Dr. K.C. Sunny, but I have just like as Mr. Gino stated, I also heard much about you and Mr. Srirangan. More than that of a volunteer of the organization LJRF, my beloved friend, and all who participate in this program. In fact, Mr. Srirangan contacted me, and later through my brother, Mr. Safi Mohan, contacted. And actually, another date was wanted for this program, but it was a little bit inconvenient for me, and therefore this day was selected. I'm very grateful to arrange the program in such a way, and that allowed me to attend this program. My thanks and gratitude to the organizers at the outset. And this program, Law and Justice Research Foundation, certainly from the name, it indicates it works in the field of law. I believe that it is a voluntary organization and dedicated for the for helping the students and lawyers, obviously for the young lawyers, and exactly I don't know what is the area where you are working. However, I believe that Safi Mohan indicated today that the area where the organization is functioning is constitutional justice and legal literacy. Certainly, it's said maybe that is the most important area where any legal professional, any member of legal fraternity has to have concentration right now. We know the law earlier was a very, very restricted area, although the law pervades every area of the social life. Initially or earlier, the law, the application of law considered to be within four walls of the courts. Every attempt of every member of this fraternity was to convince the court as to what is the truth and what is justice, and thereby to get a decision on the dispute. Beyond that, on the earlier days, there was no much application for the law, although its effect was, as I said, all pervading. It has its own effect on every aspect of the social life. But its application, more or less, was within the courtrooms. Therefore, it was its study, research, and everything was devised in such a way that its purpose should be confined to that restricted area. We know the research activities and the method of research and all we followed in the area of law was only doctrinal one initially. There was no much empirical study or anything. But when the country progressed or the global arena was changed to on some sort of a, I may say, some sort of a business line of living, that kind of globalization takes place. The concept of law has been changed very much. In that context, sometimes the study in the constitutional justice and legal literacy, of course, study of law, but when it goes out, it reaches out to the general public through this kind of organization. Certainly, that is an appreciable endeavor, no doubt. In that way, I'm appreciating the organization, and I I wish all the success to the organization in its future endeavors. And coming to this program, this legal journalism, a 7-day program was conducted. It is already concluded. I have just gone through the program you have arranged. Certainly very, very useful topics for the students as well as the young lawyers are included. But then when students and young lawyers are given internship program or exposure to legal journalism, what way it will help these young persons? See, law is something, journalism is totally a different thing. As we know, law, the purpose of law, we know, ultimately to see that justice is rendered to the people. Journalism, the purpose, as we know, its end may be mass communication. Journalism is, of course, how the informations be collected, collated, and circulated or provided to the general public. Mass communication, certainly through the media, various kinds of media, how these informations can be reached to the general public to the extent possible. So what is the relationship between law and journalism or law and mass communication? That is the, I think that may be the question today. When the mode of communication has taken a total change, it has transformed to a great extent. A sea change is there. We know through social media, the nature of the journalism or communication itself has been changed. Earlier, this communication media was through, we know, initially newspaper, then radio, visual media, etc. But those are all a kind of control communication mechanisms. When social media took over, today it has no bounds. It has, nobody has practically a control over it. When that is the present day situation, how law will have effect on that? I think that may be the endeavor of the organizers of this internship program also, to say, to communicate to the participants who are the young persons who are coming up to the profession, and both in law as well as journalism, those who are interested in participating or in having a role in journalism also, when through this program, they are told about the vulnerability of this developing situation. Certainly that will help them a lot. I have no doubt about it. But how will you relate these two things? What is the effect of law on the journalism or vice versa? I think dignitaries who led the class, and today Dr. K.C. Sunny is there, Sri Rangan is there, they will be more competent. I am practically an inept, incompetent man to speak about journalism and mass communication. Others, competent persons are there, so I'm not supposed to go to those aspects. But these two things are to be related, certainly. I may just look that aspect in the perspective of practice of law. We know students and young lawyers, their ultimate object, if you practice law throughout, is to become a lawyer. what is the role of a lawyer in the justice administration system? See, in the law colleges, in the law schools, students are taught what the law is, what the purpose of law, how it is to be interpreted, how it is to be understood, how it is to be applied to the social situations. But when coming to the court, I point out just an example. Many participants are lawyers, so it may be easy to communicate. So when a person files a suit, simple suit for injunction, in that suit, an application for temporary injunction is also filed, suppose. When that application is moved, naturally, what are the criteria for getting an injunction? Easily, a law student or a lawyer certainly will say, we know what are the criteria for temporary injunction, prima facie case, balance of convenience, irreparable injury, all will say. But if the court or the opposite party goes one step more and asks, what is the ultimate right you are claiming? And under which provision or under the color of which right you are claiming the injunction? See, prima facie case, many terms we can use. A debatable case, presentable case, arguable case, etc., etc. But ultimately, what does it mean in the context of the provisions of law? When it is asked, normally it will be difficult to answer unless the counsel knows well the provisions of law, not only a single provision, but provisions of many statutes sometimes. It is relating to a property right. The right available under the property law may be involved. The right to get an injunction as provided in the Specific Relief Act may be involved. The procedure contained in the Code of Civil Procedure as to conditions for grant of injunction involved. What I intend to say is that when coming to the practice of law, one has to know these provisions, related provisions in respect of a right that is possible. So a holistic approach is required for persons who practice law, pure law. If so, coming to a topic like this, legal journalism, what would be the expansive requirement of knowledge required to deal with the situation? Journalism is a matter where a skill is to be developed. Mere textbook study may not be required sufficient. One has to have sufficient experience, skill development. All is required, unless one may not be able to percolate or the information he is having. And when that is done, nowadays, or as I said, in the present day situation, it has much ramification in the legal consequences. Now, as we know, people are very right-oriented. Small issues will also be taken up by the people. See, by the way, I may just point out the situation in Kerala. Ours is a small state. UP is the most populous state in our country, where this population may be around more than 20 crores, 25 crores. Statistics goes to say that the crimes registered in UP, Uttar Pradesh, the whole state, is less than what is registered in Kerala. Not because there are many crimes in Kerala, state of Kerala. Crimes may be more in UP, much more. But number of cases registered is more in Kerala. Why? Reason is simple, that people in our state are right-oriented. That is the small issues people will not tolerate it. That is the nature of this society in this state. When a journalist need to work in such an environment, naturally, he must be he must anticipate what should be the consequence of each and every word he spelled out, every act he does. So that is the importance of combining together journalism and law today. In that context, I may certainly say this endeavor has much importance. This organization has rightly selected this topic and tried to give at least a limit, being an internship program. It may not be called a training or anything like that, but only an awareness program. In that program, certainly the participants will be benefited to a great extent. Especially, this is an area where the persons working there should have much more awareness than that of a pure legal professional. So I don't want to speak on it more, because the reason I said I'm not a competent person to say more about this journalism and its nuances. Mr. Dr. K.C. Sunny is here. He may be speaking more about it. I'm very happy having been invited for this program. Thank you very much. With these words, I conclude. Once again, I wish all success to this organization, as well as all the participants here. Thank you. Thank you very much.